Now, we often see it here on YouTube, videos claiming that if you do this one thing...
Are you ready for the next leap forward? Because this right here will absolutely transform your photography.
But often that video and that one thing fall a little bit flat. But what I've got for you in this video is something that I don't believe, I know can transform your photography if you do it. So what's going to follow now is a video overview of a challenge that I recently ran in our creative circle, our photography creative circle on school. And other members in that community did this one particular challenge. And we had a discussion. The discussion was actually 2.5 hours long, where we learned all about people's experience and how it had made such a big difference to their photography. So this is an overview, a video overview of a lot of the common things that were found that everybody experienced.
You know, we live in this age of digital infinity, right? Our phones can hold thousands, literally thousands of images. But what happens when you strip all of that away? We're going to dive into a fascinating experiment where photographers faced a really severe limitation, just 10 photos. And believe me, the results were completely unexpected. So that brings us to the core question here. When you can't just spray and pray, when every single shot has to count, does that limitation, does it break you? Or does it actually force a breakthrough? Well, this challenge was designed to find out. And the rules, oh man, they were brutally simple. And that was the whole point. First up, only 10 exposures. That's it, just 10. Second, no fixing it in post. What you shoot is exactly what you get. And third, and this might be the toughest one of all, no do-overs. If you take a shot, it counts. Even, as one photographer found out, if it's an accidental selfie. This really captures the two worlds colliding, doesn't it? On one side, you've got the modern digital crutch. Just shoot everything, sort it out later. Let the software save a sloppy shot. But this challenge, it forced a completely different, much more deliberate mindset. You have to think before you press that button. Compose with your eyes, not just your camera. So you can probably guess what happened next. Stripping away all those safety nets, it was a total shock to the system. For pretty much everyone, the first stage wasn't some creative bliss. No, it was pure, unadulterated frustration. Take Sarah, for instance. She's a studio photographer, so her entire world is built on control. She stages things, she moves props, she perfects the lighting. And then suddenly she's out in the real world with just 10 frames. And all that control, poof, gone. It was, in her words, maddening. And Sarah was definitely not alone. I mean, these were the struggles everyone was facing. You know that feeling, seeing a perfect composition just ruined by a distraction you can't crop out? Or fumbling with your phone settings while you're wearing bulky gloves? And then there was just this intense pressure, knowing each click was final. It was a real trial by fire. And just to put this into perspective, listen to Francois, a food photographer. Normally, he'd shoot, maybe 100 frames just to get that one perfect shot of a dish, tweaking every little detail. Now he had to tell the entire story of a meal, from raw ingredients to the finished plate, in just 10 frames. The scale of that mental shift it's just massive. But then, something started to shift. Right after that initial wave of frustration, the photographers, they started hitting a turning point. They began to see this limitation not as a cage, but, as a lens that focused their attention in this incredibly powerful new way. And the single biggest discovery they made? The incredible power of slowing way down. Without the ability to shoot endlessly, they had no choice but to stop, look, and truly see what was in front of them. Let's look at Lee's experience. He took on the challenge at his workplace, a place he knows like the back of his hand. But by being forced to slow down, he started finding these amazing compositions he'd never ever noticed before. Suddenly, the patterns of pipes, the bolts on a gate, the familiar became fascinating. And this slide right here shows the new kind of process that started to emerge. Paul, another photographer, realized he'd stopped doing something totally fundamental, visualizing the shot in his head before even lifting the camera. He rediscovered the simple importance of walking around, using his own eyes to find the angle, and only then, only when it was right, committing to the shot. If you want to see just how much things slow down, get this. A photographer named Brian took on the challenge during his regular walk. A route that normally takes him an hour and a half took him 3 hours. Double the time for just 10 photos. That's what the pace of deliberate creation looks like. Okay, so this experience did way more than just slow them down. The challenge unearthed some really profound lessons about the craft, about public perception, and even about what makes a photo good in the first place. One of the most surprising and kind of funny insights came from this little social experiment Lee did. He figured shooting with a phone would make him blend in, right? Nope. The exact opposite happened. People were more suspicious of him, seeing him as some kind of creeper. But when he had his big DSLR camera, oh, then he was a legitimate photographer. It's just a fascinating look at how our gear totally changes how people see us. And Francois, he had this huge breakthrough. He realized his whole industry's obsession with perfection, using motor oil for syrup, making food look pristine but totally inedible, it wasn't authentic. By embracing the little imperfections like the burnt, crusty bits on a baking dish, his photos suddenly felt more real, more homely, and honestly, way more appetizing. So you can really think of this whole challenge as a kind of time machine. It snatched photographers from the modern digital mindset of spray and pray and threw them all the way back to the discipline of the film era, where every single shot cost money and you absolutely had to get it right in the camera. And that right there is the key technical takeaway, summed up perfectly by David. The technology. It had allowed for a certain kind of sloppiness to creep into the craft. This challenge was a forced but totally welcome reminder to just focus on the fundamentals: composition, lighting, and timing. And the emotional result of all this? Well, far from feeling trapped, photographers like Angelica actually felt liberated. It's wild, right? Without the pressure of hundreds of choices and endless editing, the simple act of taking a picture became joyful and freeing all over again. So, after all that frustration and discovery, what's the lasting impact? Did this difficult, super restrictive exercise actually change anything for these photographers in the long run? I mean, this is the real test, isn't it? After going through that whole roller coaster, would any of them voluntarily put themselves through it again? The answer, a resounding yes, across the board. From Lee to Francois to Angelica, the verdict was unanimous. They found the process so valuable, they actually wanted to repeat it. And maybe the most powerful verdict of all came from Paul. The challenge inspired him so much, he went out and started shooting on actual film again. And that right there is the ultimate takeaway. This whole experiment proved that the value wasn't really in the final 10 images. It was about rediscovering a more mindful, more deliberate, and frankly, a more satisfying way of creating. It was all about the process, not just the products. So it kind of leaves us all with a question, doesn't it? Whether you're a photographer, a writer, a musician, whatever you do. In a world that gives us unlimited options, what's the one constraint, the one simple, challenging rule you could impose on yourself that might just unlock a whole new level of creativity?
Now, one of the other things that we discussed when we went through this particular overview in person was how the great technology that we have at our hands has almost done us a disservice, because it can make us, and I say this from my own experience, it can make us a little bit lazy as photographers, because we're relying on the fact that firstly, it doesn't cost us anything to press the shutter button, but also that we can take so many pictures to nail it down to that one particular shot. But this challenge showed that when we kind of rewind to almost to the times of when there was film, when if you press the shutter button, it was costing you money. If you get that mindset, that you have the same approach with your digital photography, it makes a huge difference. And I know that. I don't just believe it, I know it, because I also did this challenge. So now I feel invigorated about my photography, and I'm really looking forward to 2026, putting into practice the things that came out of this challenge. So give it a go yourselves. If you're wanting to progress with your photography, if you want to bring back that feeling of being an artist in your photography, give this challenge a go. Give it a go, and I guarantee you'll see a difference.
Sometimes it feels like you're creating in silence. Just you, your camera, and the glow of your screen. But something's missing. A connection. A community. But now you've found it. This is the Photography Creative Circle. Inside, you'll find a classroom, live calls, feedback sessions, a member map, meetups, and a thriving forum that never sleeps. And every month brings new workshops, expert talks, and community challenges to keep you learning and inspired. The Photography Creative Circle is a worldwide community, providing a safe space for creatives to connect, share, get feedback, grow, and building friendships. Join us today with a 7-day, no-commitment free trial and start your creative journey.
It'll be great to have you part of the community.